Morning everyone. How are we doing? Well, busy day today on the farm. We've got a lot going on. And predominantly it's grass work today. I'll show you what's going on over there in a second. First, where do I start? Yep, I bought myself a tedder. A new one. Wasn't too dear, but I need it because I need some hay. So I've got the 8210 there ready to hook up to that. To get into the grass field. I have dug the Mac out from the concept shed over there. I figured it would be a good idea, as this is going to be running in the next month or so. Come harvest time, I figured it would be a wise idea just to dig it out and make sure everything was running right. Make sure it was building oil pressure and that the hydraulic systems are all working, and everything seems to be relatively hunky-dory. It has got a bit of a slow puncture on that inner frontermost tyre there, but it's so slow that I don't need to worry about that just yet. And there is sign of one of the leaf springs at the front is a bit corroded and rusty, but it's still there, and it's not causing a problem at the minute, so we shall address that in the near future. But aside from that, I am still overly impressed with this truck. It's a beautiful thing, nice and old, simple to use, simple to operate, and everything is working exactly as it should. Now I've got the 4040 here hooked up to the mower. That's going to be the first thing we get to today. The big grass field over by the cow shed is ready to be cut. Its first cut. Now it's going to take quite a while, that, because as you may know, it's quite a big field and it's quite a small mower. So I've got my work cut out for me there, so that's going to be the first few hours of today spoken for. But I also, as I say, I picked up this tedder because I do need to turn some of that grass into hay. I can't do all of it, obviously, because I need grass and I need hay. So what I think I'm going to do is, once the field is mowed, I'm going to run maybe 3 or 4 headlands with the tedder, and then I'm going to run the baler, the windrower, then the baler in that field to ted up the hay, to windrow and then bale up the hay once it's been tedded. And get the bales picked up, and then run the windrower again in the field when the hay's gone, and get it picked up and put into Amos's fermenting silo, for which I will need his forage trailer, which is totally fine. So yeah, so anyway, this here, this is an exciting thing. I popped into the dealership a couple of weeks ago, had a word with Joe, and he showed me a promotional video for this company called Bushel Plus, who have created this wonderful piece of gadgetry. If you just look there underneath the rear axle of the combine, you can see that silver plate, that silver tray thing. Well, that is a combine calibration system, obviously made by a company called Bushel Plus. Now what that does, once it's hooked up and wired into the electronics of the combine, it essentially keeps it calibrated to its absolute specification, I suppose. And according to the promotional video and a handful of the people who have already used this, you can get up to a 10% increase in yield across your fields, which is a significant increase. And if you bear in mind the acreage of wheat that I have growing at the minute, a 10% increase or up to a 10% increase is not to be sniffed at. So this wonderful gentleman Mike here is in his heavily kitted out truck, I must say. It's got absolutely everything on this thing. It's got a generator, it's got a crane, you've got so many things on this. It's absolutely cool. But yeah, he's come along with his boxes of tools, and he's going to be here for the next few hours at least, getting this calibration system fitted to my combine. So that's pretty exciting. Yeah, so first things first, what do we need to do? We can leave that there for now. I don't need the tedder, obviously. I need to get into the grass field and get mowing. So let's jump in this old girl. There we go. I'm pretty sure everything's hooked up here. It should be. Yep. Wonderful. Right. Let's get over to the fields, or to the grass field, and get mowing. Well, before we jump in the grass field, I just thought I will have a quick check over here in this big wheat field. Let's up and over the fence, but look at this. It's looking beautiful, eh? But as you can see, we have got quite an acreage of winter wheat here, so appreciating that there could now be a 10% increase on top of what I could have had is also extremely exciting. So anyway, we've still got a couple of months or so. We're in June at the minute, and I'm expecting this to be harvestable come August, September time. So we shall leave that be for now and get to work in this grass field. So let's get this thing unfolded nicely. Oh, there we are. And off you go. Excellent. Right. One man went to mow and all that, so I'll see you in a couple of hours. There we go. Another good job well done, if I don't say so myself. No, it didn't take me anywhere near as long as I thought it would. It was only about an hour and 10, hour and 15 minutes there to get that sorted. So, as I said before, I'm going to run the tedder. I think I'm going to run maybe 3, possibly 4 headlands with the tedder. The tedder has a width of just over 8 meters, I think, so and the windrower is not far off. There is a little bit of a difference in the width of the two implements, but it's as close as I can get it. So yeah, I'm going to run the tedder, run the windrower, and then jump in the T7 and pick up the baler, because it is quite a big baler. It's a Heston baler, so I need something with a bit of weight and a bit of oomph behind it. So anyway, let's jump back in this thing, and I have just appreciated just how empty the fuel tank is on this, so I need to go and give this a drink, and I shall pick the camera back up very shortly. Right, there we go. Well, I'm actually quite impressed with myself, to be honest. I've had a bit of an out-there idea that has actually worked. Running tedding part of the grass field into hay and leaving the rest of the grass here. So, yeah, the windrower is 8.4 metres in width, and the tedder is 8.7, so there's like a 30-odd centimetre difference between the two, which is pretty much roughly what's left here, this residual row of hay here, but that'll just get mixed up with the rest of the grass here. There's such a larger amount of grass than there is hay here, so yeah, that'll just get lost in it. But yeah, 4 windrows of hay, which all look pretty generous. I think the yield from this first cut of grass is been pretty good. So I need to, I'm going to leave the windrower attached to the 8210 here. Let's just jump in here and get this folded up. There we go, and we'll take this back to the yard. We'll jump in the T7 because the baler is quite a big beast, so we need the T7 for that. So we'll get that picked up and run the baler around here. I think I'm going to need to get the bale fork hitched up to the telehandler so that I can pop the bales. I think I might just have to do one at a time and just stack them up somewhere around the car barn for now, just to save me having to go and pick up the pickup truck and get the flatbed trailer out. And I think I'm going to do it that way anyway. We'll see how time fares. So yeah, let's, as I say, we'll get this back, we'll get the T7, and let's get baling. I've got a funny feeling this T7's a bit dry when it comes to diesel at the minute though, so I think I might need to top it up before we get into the field and go pick up the baler. Yeah, it's not completely empty, but it would be a wise idea to top it up, I think. So let's go do that first. Right, let's get this beast hooked up, shall we? And I've completely lined that up wrong, haven't I? Let's swing in. There we go. Straighten up a bit. That should do nicely, I think. First time running this baler since we bought it. Let's see how it performs, shall we? It is quite a big thing though, isn't it, compared to most balers? I don't think it's like quite as big as Amos's baler actually, so I know that's a much more modern thing, but you know what I'm like? I like my old machinery. Or relatively old anyway. Right, anyway. Let's get busy. Just get lined up nicely over the rows and get this unfolded. Oof. Oh, sounds like it needs a bit of greasing. Well, let's power it on. And we'll lower that pickup. There we go. Nice. Right. Let's get our bale on. Well, there we go. 29 bales, I think, if I can count correctly, which I wouldn't necessarily trust 100%, but yes, 29 bales, and they're big bales. That's just over 7,500 litres per bale, so they're quite beastly. So, yeah, and I think I've done quite well in separating the hay and the grass in this instance anyway. So, next job is get them picked up and get them stacked up near the cow barn. I'm not entirely sure how I'm going to do this yet. I'm debating whether to just pull the telehandler over here with the bale fork on and just run back in two, picking each one up individually and making a neat pile somewhere in the shed over there, or whether I get the pickup truck and the gooseneck trailer and load them all up onto that, but I'm not too sure. Based on how the trailer and truck fared with the weight of fertiliser bags on there a few weeks back, I'm not too sure that it'll fare much better with a handful of these bales, let alone a good stack of them. So yeah, but regardless, first thing first, I need the telehandler and the bale fork, so let's run this back over and go pick them up. Right, I think I left it in here. Yes. Yes, I did. Right. In fact, I need to get this pallet fork off, don't I? But I'll just pop that in the workshop over here for now when I swap them over. In actual fact, where did I leave my bale fork? I think... Yes, there it is over there. Yeah. I think I'm going to have to thread this around the back here. I think I've got space to squeeze in. Yes. Excellent. Right, let's pop this down here. Right, bale fork connected. Let's get this back out of here. Spot of light reversing. There we go. Excellent. Right. This is going to take some time, I think, backing into in from the field to the cow barn, so I think I'm going to pop the camera down and I shall pick it back up in a wee while when all the bales are somewhere, hopefully, neatly stacked over at the cow shed. So, I shall see you all soon. Right, bale stacking done. I've had to do a bit of clever bale stacking in here. I've had to stack them endways as opposed to widthways so I can get a bit more in here. So there's 29, there's 27 there, and I've popped the last two at the back of these existing bales here because I've got 4 bales of hay there and 4 bales of straw, but these ones need to be used up first because they're older. So yeah, but they're all under cover, they're covered from the rain as it were. So right, we need to get this thing back over to the yard. I think obviously, as you can see, the baler's going to have to live where it is at the minute over on the farmyard, as the parking space for the baler is full of bales, ironically. So yep, be alright though. So let's get this thing back over here. We need to, now that we've got all the hay picked up, we now need to get the grass road, and when that's been rowed up, then I need to pop over to Amos's and pick up his forage wagon and get all of that picked up. So still plenty to do. It's early to mid-afternoon. I think it's about 1:30. I haven't got my watch on at the minute, but yeah, it's about 1:30 in the afternoon. So we've got a good couple of hours worth of work ahead of us, 2-3 hours, give or take a bit. So let's keep at it. Right, there we go. That's the rowing all done in this field now for the first cut. It's a bit shoddy and a bit patchy in these little corners here where there's a few sharp turns, but generally as a rule it's all looking good. And again, there's a few of the spillages from the hay rowing, tedding earlier on, but that'll all mix in together and won't even know it's there. So, I've just been on the phone to Amos to ask if I can pop over and pick up his forage wagon, and he's very kindly delivered it over to my place for me, so that saves me a trip, so I'm very grateful for that. So I think while we're in it, and while it's mucky and running and the oil's warm, we will get this over to the yard, drop off the windrower and pick up the forage wagon, and definitely for the next couple of hours, we're going to be backing and toing to Amos's fermenting silo. Now, he's told me that at the minute we have the fermenting silo itself, the fermentation side is empty, but silage we have just over 300,000 litres, which is pretty decent. Now that's obviously split between the pair of us because we both chip in for this. It's his silo. I know a lot of it is my grass, but that's all good. I'm happy for us pretty much to share and take what we need from it as we need it. So, but yeah, 300,000 litres of silage is pretty decent. So, plus when we add this into it and get this turned to silage in the fermenting side, again between us we're going to have quite a lot. I don't actually know how much that silo of his holds. I will have to ask him next time I speak to him actually. But by the by, we've got lots to do. I wonder where he's put this forage trailer actually. Can't see it. But let's... Oh, there it is. Yeah, he's just popped it on the corner. Right. Okay. Let's just... In fact, I'll just whip this round here. There we go. We shall jump out. Disconnect the PTO and the hoses. Drop that down. And get this thing hooked up. In fact, what I might do for him as well when we're finished is just give it a quick clean, because I know I have used this forage trailer quite a few times of late. That's quite low, isn't it? I'm sure we can pick this up somehow, can't we? There we go. There we go. That's a bit better. Right. Excellent. Okay. Back to where we came from. Back to the grass field. And get this stuff picked up and put into the silo. Right, well, that was a good afternoon's work, and it really was. That was 3.5, nearly 4 hours of backing and toing, forage wagoning this field, as it were. All the grass has been picked up. There's a tiny, tiny residual bit left in this forage trailer here, which I'm going to tip into the silo when I take it back to Amos's. I am going to call home very quickly now, just give it a very quick once-over with the jet washer for him and take it back. But it's knocking on the door 5:45 in the evening. I'm starving hungry. So I'm going to get this done and then get myself home for some tea and get the dog fed. But I have just had a quick phone call from Amos. He has told me that this afternoon, from this field, exactly, we have tipped into that silo 360,000 litres of grass. So I'm very impressed with that. This field has yielded very well today. So the field, obviously, field prep was well worth it. So all in all, if you add up what we have of silage at the minute and what we now have of grass being turned into silage, is actually 666,000 litres, almost exactly. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, it's getting on nice. It's a beautiful evening today, isn't it? Look at it, beautiful. I think it's about 30 degrees, so it's really quite warm as well. It's lovely. But yeah, that's a good day's work for me. But I'm done now. Absolutely starving. Maximus needs feeding, so I'm going to get back and get my feet up for a bit.